There you go. And hello, everyone, team. Thank you so much for coming on the team call. I hope you guys have had a great weekend and enjoying your day so far. This is me, Luke, aka Stephanie's roommate, as you guys already know. I hope that you guys enjoying yourselves. Today we have a great call for you. So before we get started, just want to go through some announcements really quickly. In case you guys did not know, the tickets for Summit, that used to be 165, the prices be bumped up just a little bit, about $10. So now you can still get a great deal on your Summit ticket. If you've never been, it would be a great opportunity for you if you were not on the Success Club trip, which some of us were able to go. So it felt good to be able to get back into the community aspect of who we are and what we do, and just meet again physically and then hang out and just be able to build a community. As you know, this is one thing very important for this team. So you can find out all the new information about Summit, which will be in St. Louis this year. And the FAQ is 9023 for that. It's a great event. It can be crazy, but a lot of great announcements, meeting amazing people, mentors, and people that can help you with whatever you want to do or where you want to build your business. Also, if you log into, second announcement, if you log into your online back office, you will find out about Super Weekend. So Super Weekend are usually events that are hosted locally. So they happen in all the states throughout the United States, and obviously now the UK, Canada, and also France. It will happen on the weekend of April 22nd to the 24th. Some happen on the Friday, other Saturday, and obviously Sundays. So if you log into your back office and you click on where you live, you will be able to find who is hosting it or close to where you live. And I would strongly encourage you to find one near you and attend one. This is a great way to build rapport with people from the network and be able to work with people locally and just know that, like, you're not doing this alone. So that's also another great way to connect on top of this amazing community that we are, which is our team, ours. Third announcement, as you know, there is a big promotion and sale for our new bike. I got a chance to test it out a little bit during the Success Club trip. And yeah, we are considering one. I think we might get a bike. Don't not know when, but it's actually great. And now that we have a lot of the program from Body and obviously from Job One, it's a great alternative for people that don't like to run, but they still want to be active. It's a great option or a great tools to add into the regimen and routine that you got going on. And my last one will be the 2 challenge pack that are right now in promotion. Obviously, is the 4-week gut protocol, which is really going crazy. A lot of momentum going on. We saw that with the leaders board, how the team really showed up, and we are also proud of all of you. And also Job One is still another program that people are raving about. So continue to go out there, show up for yourself, but for the people that you serve and the people that are watching you, and always offer all the solution that we have to offer. So these are my announcements for today. And I'm going to pass it up to, well, before I pass it up, I want to, some of you, well, all of you by now should know who she is, but Bianca is really a dear friend of ours. I got to meet her through Stephanie. She's like best friend, confidant, whatever you want to name it. She is an amazing leader in this network. She's an amazing mom of 3. She is a dancing extraordinary person. You know, I look up to her on so many ways. And I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, you are talking about time management today. Oh, and she wanted me to stress out, she is a super busy mom. Busy, busy, busy. So without further ado, Bianca, do you want to unmute yourself? And you can take it away, my dear.
Thank you, Luke. Hi, ladies. Hi, everybody. It's nice to be here. See some familiar faces. I see some new ones as well. It's really nice to be here. It feels like home. It feels like family. So yeah, so Luke, so Stephanie asked me to come on the call for you guys and just kind of share a little bit of how I get things done. And I know that this is a question that a lot of people ask me, I think it's because I am super busy. Outside of coaching, I do a lot of extra things. And so I'm someone who deals well with all that busyness. And when I stepped into coaching, it was something that I didn't even want to do because I didn't want to add something else to my plate. And so, but I don't like to do things like I don't like to half-ass things. I like to do things well. And I do something, it's because I want to commit to it. And so when I decided to become a coach, I knew that I was going to have to do some juggling with my time if I was going to be successful at it. And so I started learning everything I could about time management and time blocking and, how to schedule things and how to get organized. Because honestly, I am not an organized person. Like I'm a Ruby and I am a red, if you guys can identify with that. I'm a leader. I get things done. I don't necessarily take the steps. I don't to learn things. I just do them. I throw myself into things and then I figure out as I stumble and as I go. Honestly, it's a strength and it's also a very big weakness because we tend to not be organized and we tend to not know how to get things done. And so recognizing that about myself early on and being the Ruby that I am and wanting to be successful and wanting to take on the challenge. Are any other Rubies in the house? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Danny Johnson, Rubies? All right, because I don't see anybody shaking their heads because Rubies will identify with what I'm saying. We just want to get things done, we don't care about how it gets done. We just want to get it done. And so I knew that was going to be a challenge for me. And so I that's how I became this quote unquote, every time I get asked to speak on a team call, it's about time management. So it's this quote unquote, I guess, expert on the subject. It is what it is. So I'm going to share with you guys what I've learned. I'm going to share with you guys how I get things done, and I'll share a little bit about me. Can I share the screen, Luke? I made a PowerPoint.
Yeah, you should be able to share your screen. So if you go on the bottom and you screen share, you should be able to have access to it.
I see it. Can you guys see it? Can you guys see my screen? All right. Yeah. I'm not going to blow it up because every time I blow it up, it makes it. I'm going to leave it as is. And this is more for me than for you. So you guys don't have to pay attention to PowerPoint. But as a good Ruby, I tend to just ramble and go all over the place with things. So I like the PowerPoints. Keeps me organized. So I think most of you know me, but for those of you who don't, my name is Bianca. I have been a coach since 2013, so forever. I feel like a grandma coach. I started around the same time that Stephanie did. I'm a wife. I've been married for 10 years. I have 3 girls. My oldest is in college now. She's 20 years old. That's just crazy to me, but she is. My 2 girls, they're in the picture. My middle one is 9 and my little one is 7. Both very busy girls. We like to keep kids busy in our house. So my girls do martial arts. My middle one's in travel soccer. If you have travel soccer people in your life, you know how hard that is. So my husband and I are also in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and my husband competes. So that also takes up a lot of our time. I am a full-time flight attendant. I work for Delta. I fly international a lot. A lot of times I'm in Europe. I'm all over the place. I just got back from Brazil 2 days ago. My life is crazy. With all that going on, I've been able to get my business to a 3-star diamond, to have an organization of about 350 coaches. I lead my team. I lead the medical team at my church. I volunteer at sisterhood. I do a lot of stuff like on the side, aside from coaching and flying and being a mom. And so I'm busy, and the reason I share that with you is just because a lot of times we think that, we look at other people and think, man, if I just had the time that they had, I could be as successful as they are. And I think that's just I'm going to get into that, but I think that's just a story that we tell ourselves. Luke asked for my accolades. I don't think it matters because I'm under Melanie Mitro and she was top coach for 4 years. And I remember as I was going into coaching thinking, she's amazing and she's doing great things. She's also a mom and she has the same 24 hours in a day that I do. So it doesn't matter how high you are in the company or if you're just getting started, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, and it's how we choose to allocate that time that's going to determine if we're successful or not. So I think a lot of times when people see this call, they jump on because they think that they're going to learn some kind of new and shiny trick that's going to help them solve their time problem. And I'm here to tell you, and I know this is not going to be an easy one to hear, but time's not the problem, right? If you're not being successful with your business, there's a really good chance that the problem is not the lack of time that you have. And I know that sometimes that's painful to hear, because that's something that we tend to cling on to. Like, we're like, no, that's the reason. If I just had more time, I could dedicate more to my business. And I'll tell you, I retired. I used to work as a nurse as well when I started. I'm a registered nurse, and I worked in a hospital, and I worked full-time, and I flew full-time, and I had a newborn baby when I started this job, when I started coaching. And talk about not having any time. That really was not no time, like whatsoever, no time. And, I just remember doing things in little pockets of time, right? Like literally in the bathroom, I was sending out invites when I was sitting down on my bathroom breaks. I wasn't taking lunch so that I could work this business, because I wanted so badly to succeed. And I was able to do that and have a good amount of success doing that. And I was able to actually quit my nursing job and retire from nursing, 3 years into my business. And I remember thinking, oh, this is when my business is going to take off, right? Because now I don't have this time that I was at the hospital. Now I'm home and I have all this time in the world, and my business is going to be amazing. Well, let me tell you, it wasn't. It changed nothing, right? It didn't do anything else for me, because now I had all this time in the world. If anything, it made me less successful, because I had this false idea that I had all the time in the world when I really didn't. And when I had that little bit of time, I made it happen. I knew I needed to focus in order to get those invites in, otherwise it wasn't going to happen, so it actually hindered me. And so even though we like to think that time is the problem, a lot of times it isn't, right? And like I said in the beginning, the reality is that that's what we think, right? That we need more time. And and in reality, most people, I probably can go down the line and ask each and every one of you if you have time to spare, and you're probably going to tell me, heck no, like my life is crazy too, right? And like I said, me and Melanie, in the beginning, that's how I thought about it. I went in with that mindset, like, we have the same 24 hours. So if she's successful with these 24 hours, I do not need 25 hours. I do not need 26 hours. I can be successful at the same time that she has. And so I'm a huge fan of Bob Heilig. I don't know if you guys listen to him. He has a great podcast. It's called Your Virtual Upline, and I listen to his podcast every week. And he had an episode on this, and a lot of this is coming from him, and an episode that he had recently. And I will give you guys the link to this. It's a 13-minute episode. It's really, really good. He talks a lot about red light stories, and he talks about, like, basically red light stories are our limiting beliefs, right? And there are things that we tell ourselves that are actually not true. It's just the things that are limiting us, right? So if time is not the problem, what is the problem? And the problem is that if we attach ourselves to that fact that we don't have time, then that becomes our red light story. That becomes the reason why that we convince ourselves why we're not being successful, right? And if we don't have enough time and we can't be successful, then we can justify our lack of success, and then we can just allow ourselves to stop trying. And that's just the reality of it, right? We like to think that, it's something else, and that it's something outside of ourselves. But if we really look inside, we will understand that it's really just us not trying hard enough, right? Not giving ourselves permission to succeed. And that's a really easy way to do it. The truth is, this I can actually copyright. This is a quote that I made myself. If you don't take consistent action with the time that you have now, you will not take consistent action with more time either. Like, it's not going to happen. It's not the extra time that you're going to get. It's not anything else outside of yourself. You have to take consistent action. And the key there is the two keywords there, consistent action. It really is the key to my success. And I think people think it's time management. No, I'm just really, really consistent. I show up, I do what I need to do, and I'm always taking action. I don't stop. Right? I don't attach myself to the results. I just keep going. And so that's basically what I'm going to share with you, right? Because as long as you have that red light story that you're telling yourself that, the fact is that you don't have enough time, you're not showing up as your true self. You're resisting the circumstances of your life. You're not really being authentic to what's happening around you. Yes, you're probably busy. Like I know that, you know, for me with soccer and with all that stuff, if I sit down and I write down on paper how many hours I have to work this business, it's not a lot. It's not a lot. And I bet if you do it, and you can be honest with this, you know, a lot of times we want to fantasize and think that we could do things, you know, we could wake up a little earlier, go to bed a little later and do stuff like that. Honestly, you're probably realistically going to be left, if you work a full-time job and you have kids, and you're probably going to be left with 3, 4, maybe 5 hours to work this business, right? Realistically, and this is not you trying to like, you know, slacking and watching Netflix every night. This is you realistically, this is what my life looks like. Now, if you spend your time resisting that and saying, okay, well, I, you know, wish I had more time, or if you, worse, if you compare yourself to other people and look at them, like I know for me, I've heard this from my coaches, oh, your kids go to school during the day, so you have time to work your business during the day. True, but the time that you're wasting comparing yourself to my situation is not helping you, you know, where you are right now in your life, right? You're resisting the circumstances that are in your life. And if you're doing that, think about mindset. And I know you guys in this team are really big into this, so I won't even go too much into it, but I know you understand when I say this. If you're resisting the circumstances of your life, how are you showing up every day? You're always constantly thinking, well, I'm not successful because I don't have time. So you're now showing up from a place of fear, from a place of lack, right? You don't have enough. You don't have enough when truthfully you do, right? You're showing up from a place of overwhelmed. So when you sit down to work your business, you don't know where to start because you're so overwhelmed. You don't know what to focus on, right? And all you're doing is thinking about what you don't have instead of focusing on what you do have. And when you show up like that in any business, it's not just coaching. When you show up like that in any place, you're not going to be successful because you're not coming from a place of abundance. You're not coming up from a place of, you know, of a positive attitude, right? So the first step really, and I will go into, you know, the practical things that I do, but before we go into that, that's why I wanted to talk about this, because you have to sit down with yourself and accept the circumstances of your life. Right now in this moment, what's happening, it's not holding you back. It is where you are, and you're not going to move ahead. You're not going to be successful if all you do is focus on what you don't have, right? So time management, even though that's the topic of the call, to me, that's an illusion. It's what you need to learn is self-management, is how to manage yourself, how to manage your time, how to manage your mindset, most importantly, right? Because if you can control your thoughts and give it the direction that you want to give it, you're going to be able to focus on the positive things that are going to bring you success. It is not you know, what you have, it's how you show up. It's how you decide you're going to show up, right? So change your mindset first and foremost. That's self-management. Changing your mindset is self-management. It's controlling your thoughts, giving it the direction you want to give it, right? You can do this business with whatever time you have. How many times do you guys go onto the National Wake Up Call and listen to coaches who are being super successful with the business, and they tell you that they work full-time still, right? That they have so much going on. How are they doing it and we're not, right? It's not because they have more time. They are just being very, very, I mean, I look at Chelsea, and she works full-time, and I see her posting. She's consistent. She shows up, right? How is she being successful? It's a mindset. It's she's focusing on what she can do. She's not focusing on what she doesn't have time to do. I'm sure if she sat down and wrote down the hours that she has in a day, right? Well, she would have the same excuse, but she's not choosing to focus on that. She's choosing to focus on how she can show up, right? She's controlling her attitude. So be grateful for the time that you do have, even if that time is 3 hours a week. Be grateful for that, because that's time that you have that you can be choosing to use positive way. And I even on that episode with Bob Heilig, he said, if you think that, you know, you have 3 hours, if you have 3 hours right now and you're not seeing success, and I gave you another 30 hours a week, I can guarantee you would not have success either. That was powerful when I heard that, because it is so true, right? If we can work in 3 hours and be focused and have that attitude and show up from that place of abundance, guess what? More time is going to show up, right? That's how I ended up quitting my job. It wasn't by focusing on the time that I didn't spend one lick of time thinking, oh, I don't have time to do this, or I don't have time. Just like, how can I do this? When am I going to find to do this? How am I going to find, how am I going to create time to do this? So you have to change your mindset around that. Operate from a place of I get to instead of I have to, right? You get an opportunity to work your business. You don't have to work your business, right? You get to. It's an attitude. It's totally different when you think about it that way. And then show up consistently and don't have excuses, right? Nobody, I feel like I want to throw up. Like when I hear myself saying excuses, I hear myself doing it and I'm like, I get sick to myself. I'm like, oh, stop it. Right now, just quit it. And I hate it from my customers, I hate it from my coaches, and I hate it from myself. And you have to develop that same attitude. Like there's no room for excuses if you want to be successful, right? So now I'll get to like the practical tips. First and foremost, we like to think that there's like some kind of magical hack that works for everybody. There really isn't. It's what works for you. Right, I've tried everything. I will buy any planner that shows up in front of me because I always think, oh, it's going to be this planner that's going to help me, right? And it's not the planner, it's you using the planner that's going to help, right? So I actually have 3 planners and calendars, and they have become my life. If you are not organized, you have no space in your life not to have a calendar and not a planner. If you feel, my daughter called me today, the 20-year-old, she said, Mom, I feel so overwhelmed. I'm like, overwhelmed doesn't exist in my world. Overwhelm is simply disorganization. You're just lacking organization. Sit down, get yourself organized. You will immediately feel less overwhelmed. That word to me is just like, we navigate towards that word. Such a good word to have, because when we feel disorganized, when we feel like we have a bunch of things coming at us, that's when we feel overwhelmed. Well, if you have it all down on paper and you have a plan, and you stick to that plan, you're going to feel less overwhelmed. Of course, life is going to come at you with more things because that's just life. But the more you have down on paper, the more you have it planned out, the better you're going to feel. Trust me, overwhelm is like, it doesn't exist in my world. If I catch myself saying that word, I just throw it out. It's just a lack of organization. So I'll give you a really good tip that this I've been using for a really long time. This planner has changed my world. And the only reason that it is so magical is because everything is in here. So this is, I forget her name that makes it. Kate Bullard Designs. That's where you find it. I'll give you guys the link if you want it. But this is what I use. And the reason why I like it is because I used to have like a notebook to write down the names of the people I invite on. And then I had a calendar. And then I had a little place where I wrote my vision and my why and all that. I had like different, pieces of notebooks and stuff. And every time I wrote down like when people signed up in another. So I had just a lot of things going on. Now this planner, I have space for everything. So it literally has like a little section where you write down your why and your vision. So you can, the first thing you do when you open it up is that's what it is. And that's how I start my day. And then it has a calendar. This is a brand new one. So that's why it looks so empty. Let me show you the one I just finished. So it has a spot. Okay, so it has a spot for your daily to-dos. So you can write down the things that you need to do. It has a spot for your self-care. So, your workout and your shake and all that stuff is in there. You actually write these down. So you make this whatever you want it to be. It has a spot here for your week. So, the things that you have to do Monday, Tuesday, so appointments and stuff can go in here. It has a spot for your current clients. So you can write down and make sure you're touching base with them. And then it has a spot for you to put the people you invite. And so this to me has been a game changer. I do love this one. A lot of people ask me, what do you use? This is what I use. I'm on like my 10th one. I don't know. They last 6 months. And when one ends, I just get another one because it does. This one has really, and it's really, you guys, it's not the planner. It's just that I developed a system to work with this planner, right? I made it consistent where I wrote on this planner so much that a system popped up, and now my brain just like, boom, I know where to go when I need something. So it's not about the planner, even though I'll share it with you because I love it. It's great. It's the system that works. It's the system. And so having your system, having something that works for you, whether you have a big team and you invite 20 people a day like I do, or you're inviting 3 people a day. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're writing it down, you're tracking it, and you're having a system, right? To me, planners and calendars are life. You're gonna feel overwhelmed without them. So make sure you have those down. That's first and foremost. Second is communicating your goals to your family. I know that sounds like it shouldn't be in with time management, but here's the thing. If you are always constantly feeling overwhelmed, if you feel like you're busy, you're trying to squeeze in, your business hours into whatever little pockets of time that you have. Does that sound familiar? Is that what you guys, right? Because that was me for a long time. You're trying to squeeze in the time that you don't have, and your family doesn't understand. And now you're taking your kids to the playground, and all they see is you on your phone. You're not really being present with them. You're not really being effective with what you're doing because you don't have a set time to work your business. And they just start to feel resentful towards your business. You start to feel guilty for not being present. You're not being effective, so you're not really seeing the success that you want to see with your business. And so you're not all on the same page. And so I feel like this part is overlooked by a lot of people. And I think that communication, that sit down with your kids, with your husband, and explaining that you're working a business from your phone, that this is the time when you're going to do it. And when you're not doing it, that you're with them. I think that setting those expectations, it just allows you to minimize the distractions so that when you do sit down, you're doing focused work and you're getting things done. And also so your kids don't feel like you're not being there for them. I think that a lot of us come into this business because we have this idea that, if we do, it's going to allow and create more time for our families. And that was very true for me. But for a long time, I didn't honor that. Right. So I was doing this really selfishly for me, but using it as an excuse that I was doing it for them. But if you came and there was a little camera inside my house and it saw me always on my phone, always ignoring my kids, never being present, I wasn't being authentic, and that not only did that hurt like my business, it hurt like not only did it hurt my family, it also hurt my business. So I think that's really important in the time management things. You have a time for everything. Have a time for when you're going to work your business. Have a time for when you're going to be with your kids. And when you are, give it, like, honor them and show up like a mom that's present, That goes into number 3, dedicating your time to your business. So it looks different depending on how much time you have, right? Because I've been in this business where I was working 2 full-time jobs. I've been in this business where I had no job and I was just home working full-time. And now I work full-time. I have one full-time job and I still work this business. So it looks different. For me, it's like I've made it a goal where my kids are in school, so things are a little bit different, and I get to work my business when my kids are in school. So a deadline for me is when 2:00 comes around and I have to go pick up my kids. That's the deadline for me. So I'm on a time crunch. That means I got to get all my stuff in before 2 p.m. when it's time for me to go get my kids. And you know what, for us who own our own businesses, I think in coaching, there's always something else that we could be doing, right? So we always feel like we're not done. Even when we do everything, we're always like, oh, but I need to do that. And that's normal. But having that deadline where you're like, oh, it's 2 p.m. and that's the end of a workday, that's what you do, And then for me, a lot of times that's just managing myself, because I've known, I love to shop online, I'll be working my business and then, some cute shoes pop up on my Amazon, on my Facebook, and then I'm like, oh, cute shoes. And then I go look at the cute shoes. And now an hour later, I'm like looking at boots and whatever, and I haven't worked my business. So, I have to take measures to make sure that doesn't happen when it's time for me that I'm working my business. Like one of the things that I have, I'll show you guys here, is when I sit down and work Facebook, like I don't have Messenger on my phone. I don't have Instagram chats on my phone. So it is only when I'm being intentional and I'm sitting down to work my business that I open it up. When I sit down and work my business, see here, my newsfeed, I don't have one. I can't scroll because it's not there. It's a extension that I have on Google Chrome that takes it away. So I don't even get distracted here because I took it away. You know, so little things that you can set up, you know, like this is for me. So I'm telling you guys what it is for me. As you're listening to me, you probably know what yours are, right? Whether it's TikTok that you open up and now you're sucked down in a hole and you're there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I know it happens, you know, whether it's that or whatever it is. And I'm not saying you can't go on TikTok or you can't scroll Facebook. By all means, you know, that I think that the reason why we're coaches is because we enjoy it. We love social media. Otherwise, we'd be doing something else. But have a set time to do those things so that, you know, when you are actually working your business, you're not getting distracted. I think that's huge when it comes to time management. Focusing on IPA. So I have this this little action plan, right, of the things. So this is the goal that I have, right? We all know how to do those, right? We set the vision. In order to make that vision happen, we need our goals, short-term goals and long-term goals. And, you know, in order to get to our short-term goals, we need to ensure that we have an action plan in place, right? And in that action plan, I have little IPA. So these are income producing activities. So these are my must-dos every single day. These are the things that I cannot stop working until these are done. And these are daily actions that I take in order to make sure that my business is moving forward. When I mentioned in the beginning that you know, the reason my superpower is the consistent action, that is what I'm talking about, is the IPAs. Making reels is so much fun. I love it, but I don't always get time to do it. When you look at my little, let me show you my little thing again. So I'll show you, because this is an order, and I'll read it to you so you know, you understand what my IPAs are, right? So I have them listed here. These are the ones that I have to do every single day, right? First, I have my Bible study and my quiet time. That's to get my mindset right, because I don't want to sit and start talking to people until I'm in a good place mentally. That doesn't always happen when I first wake up. Like I don't always wake up happy, right? I have to make myself get there. So that's how I do it. And for that, it could be different for you. I'm a person of faith. I love God. And, you know, it's by reading his word each morning that I get my mind in the right place. And so I can pour into people. If it's something different for you, it's something different for you, but you got to make sure you get your mind in the right place before you start. Then I have my read my vision and say my affirmations. Also for me, right? And you know, these are in order of importance. So if I don't fill up my cup, I can't pour into others, right? So that's why those are first and foremost. If I don't have time in a day and all I get to do is my Bible study in the morning, that's okay. You know, if that's all I did, that's all I did. The most important thing got done. And it goes on, right? And then my personal development is the next one. And then my very first one that's income producing activity is my invites. So before I even open my inbox and I start answering people, because every time I open my inbox, because remember, I don't have Messenger on my phone. So when I open my Messenger, there's like 20 messages there that are calling my attention that I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta answer. But before I even answer those, I'm sending my invites. I don't even open them, I send my invites. Because if I don't, I get sucked into my inbox, and then an hour later, I realize that I don't have any more time. I gotta go pick up my kids, and I didn't get my invites in, right? So first and foremost, I start with my invites. Then I go to my inbox, because those are also follow-ups. You know, you wanna make sure that you're being attentive to your team and to your clients as well. And then my follow-ups, and then I respond to comments on my Instagram or on my Facebook, which if you look at my Facebook and Instagram, you're gonna see I don't get to this a lot, right? Sometimes, a lot of times, I stop at the follow-ups. And that's just the reality of it. Would I love to answer and respond to every comment? Love it. But it just doesn't happen every day, right? Then I follow people, right? Follow 20 new people every day. That way I'm ensuring that I'm growing my network. Then I connect with people for 20 minutes. Then I send happy birthday messages, right? To connect with people. Then I do some kind of recognition for my coaches or for my challengers, some kind of recognition, because it's part of our vital behaviors. Then I make a post that adds value to people without asking for anything in return. I do that every day, or I try to do that every day. It's on my list. And then at the very bottom is the thing that I love doing the most, which is reels. I would spend my whole day making reels, watching reels and making reels, but it's at the very end of my day because why? It's not as important as getting out my invites, as doing my follow-ups, as everything else, right? As much as I love to. And it's almost like I want to rush through my day so I can get to the time where I can make a reel because I enjoy it, right? Could I just put that at the top of my list? It would get done every single day if I did, right? But is that moving my business forward? And I can justify and say, yeah, because it's finding me new followers. But realistically, what moves your business forward is signing people up. It's not expanding your network. It's not connecting with people. It's inviting people. It's right. It's getting in that inbox and sending that invite. So for me, that's how it works. It's a matter of priority. I have that list. I follow it every day. I take consistent action. I don't get to finish it all every day, but I make sure that the most important things get done. My invites are non-negotiable. So I always get to my invites. If I get through my day and all I've done is like read my vision and I never got to do any of the work, I will stay up late to make sure my invites get out. I have a minimum of 10 invites a day with 3 invites for coaching. So I do 13 invites a day on a minimum, but on a day that I can do extra, I'll do 20, sometimes I'll do 30 invites. So it really is, those are my goals, right? I have big goals with this business, and those are the things that I do to make sure that I'm, those are the numbers I came up with to make sure that I reach my goals. I don't know what your goals are, but you got to make sure that whatever they are, your action plans align, right? And that you're giving yourself enough time to do it, right? And then 5, don't do lists. I feel like they're more important than to-do lists. This is a to-do list, what I just read to you guys. Don't do lists are more important. So for me, it's don't scroll Facebook, right? Don't spend too much time watching reels. Don't, get distracted shopping for shoes when it's work hours, right? So my work hours are from 10 to 2. I got to make sure that I'm working during that time because I also got to eat. I got to answer any distractions, phone calls. A kid gets sick. I also got to do all of those things. So I got to make sure that if I'm sitting down, I'm putting work in. I'm getting this takes time, right? You guys work your business. This takes time. Talking to people takes time. Building connections, following people, all of that takes time. So we got to make sure that whatever time we designate for this, that's all we are doing. We're not being distracted with other things, right? Put your phone aside and sit down and focus and whatever it is. Having music on the background helps me focus. So I'll put my music on, Beyonce or whatever it is I'm feeling in the mood for that day, and I just go to work, okay? And then we're wrapping up here. Detaching yourself from the results, that's so important because you're gonna start doing this and you're not gonna see results right away, right? You're gonna start following your action plan and showing up every single day, and then, the little devil's gonna come in your ear saying, you've been doing this for 15 days and you haven't signed up a single person. You're doing it wrong. It's all bad and you shouldn't do this anymore. And we allow ourselves to get discouraged. We start to doubt our process. We start, to doubt ourselves, and that's just, you have to detach yourself because the work that I put in today, I'm really not going to see the results from it until 3-4 months down the road, right? So if you're not seeing success today, think 3 months ago, what were you doing? Right? Have you been consistent for the past 3 months doing your business activities every single day for the past 3 months? Because if you have, I promise you, you're seeing success, right? If you're being consistent and you're showing up every day. But if you're not, give yourself grace. It's going to take some time for your momentum to catch up. It will catch up, right? There's a book I read recently. Loved the book. It was called the Miracle Equation. It's from the same guy that wrote Miracle Mornings. It's one of his newer books. It's amazing. And he has this formula for success, right? It's unwavering faith plus extraordinary effort equals extraordinary results. And it is so true. You have to have unwavering faith that the work that you're put in is going to yield results because it will, right? If you show up every single day, it will. And then you have to put forth extraordinary effort. It's not going to be by sending one invite every single, a day here and a day there that you're going to see results. You have to send several invites every single day for a while. It's not the effort that, somebody that doesn't have goals would show up, right? It's an effort that somebody who has goals and is serious about them is willing to make. You're hearing mine. I'm serious about my goals. right? So that's the kind of effort that you have to put forward. Okay. And then set aside time to rest. And this has been so important. I was sharing this with my corporate mentor the other day. I've been in this business for a long time, and I'm a worker. I work hard. I have good work ethics. I show up. And for a long time, I just did. I just showed up a lot, and I never took time aside to rest. If I was on vacation, I was getting up early to, do my invites, and it was just a nonstop. And I don't condone that. I think it's awesome. I think that is great when we have really big goals and we want to do a push, that we do that. I'm not saying that it is wrong, but because I never found time to rest, I felt burnt out. And so now I have this thing. It's actually a biblical principle, like I shared with you guys. I'm a person of faith, and in the Bible it tells us that God rested, so we're supposed to rest as well. And so and there is this principle of a Sabbath, and I never practiced that because I just didn't see the value in it. And then I realized that it is a command, that God commands that we rest. And so I started taking from Friday nights to so from sundown on Fridays to sundown on Saturdays. I put my phone down and I step away from it. I don't post on stories. I don't reply to messages. I don't work my business. I don't even open my coach office. I do nothing related to Beachbody whatsoever. And I was sharing with my mentor, I started this early in the year. It's been life-changing. It's been really life-changing because I find that when I step back into my business, I have this fire I didn't get to work because, I'm excited and I'm ready to work. Where before I was just dreading opening my phone all the time. Like, oh my gosh, here we go. It's going to be like 70 messages again. And I don't have patience for this. And, it was wearing me down. And this simple practice just like changed my life. So I want to just empower you guys to test it out, try it. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine does. Maybe yours is different, but do set some time aside for yourself so that you can actually fill yourself back up, cleanse your mind, and don't allow yourself to get, burnt out and overwhelmed. So yeah, that's what I had. Is that helpful? I hope it was. I'll open it up for questions if you guys have any. I know I didn't give you many practical tips, but I felt like coming in, I was thinking about you guys before I stepped into the call, and I know how much work Stephanie and Luke, how much work they do into mindset and helping you guys understand that. And so I thought that if any team could understand that what's stopping you is really not lack of time, but your mindset around it, it would be you guys. And so I felt at liberty to come in and share more about that. I thought it would serve you better than telling you, this is what you do. And this is, I don't know. I hope it did. So yeah, does anybody have any questions?
There's one question that I would like to ask. And I can speak from experience because with Bianca, we have run a lot of the power hours, me and her. On many occasions on those power hours, it was just me and her just working. So I can definitely vouch for her. She's very consistent. She shows up every day. One question that I have for you, and that's also for everybody, is what are some tips that you can give on days where, let's say, you get up and you are motivated, you have, let's say, the list of things you want to do, but as you know, sometimes things don't go your way. Mm-hmm. So how do you go about either making up for that lost time, or how do you go about not feeling discouraged because your day started well and then things went left, and then where do you go from here, or what do you do, or what are some of the things that you have done that have helped you to stay the course no matter what happens in your day?
Yeah, so I think that we have to give ourselves grace. I think we are very, very hard on ourselves, especially for those of you who are hard workers like me. We get very hard on ourselves if it doesn't fall exactly, according to plan. I've learned to give myself grace. I do what I can, the best that I can, and whatever else is I just put it at the palm of my hands and blow it away. I don't make up for lost time. I'll give you an example. On this past Friday, I was supposed to, I had a list of things that I was supposed to do. And then my Sabbath time was coming around, and I knew that I wasn't going to finish. For example, I had to schedule my posts for April. And, Monday was going to come around and there would be no posts for my challenge groups or for my team. And so I started to freak out a little bit. I was like, well, I don't have time. And, on Sunday, it's going to be so busy and I still have to make a PowerPoint and this and all the stuff that I was like, I'm just not going to have time to do it. And I started freaking out. And I said, you know what, maybe that's first thing I do on Monday. I'm not going to, nobody's going to notice that there isn't a post up on Monday morning. It's me being hard on me because I didn't get it done, right? Nobody on my challenge group is going to call me out and say, hey, I didn't see your post on Monday morning at 6 a.m. You know what I mean? So it's me being hard on me. A lot of times it's us being hard on ourselves. It's not expectations that people put on us, it's expectations we put on ourselves. So giving ourselves grace for stuff like that and just, doing the best that you can with the time that you have.
No, okay, good. That's very insightful. I'm just checking on the chat quickly. Reminder, Abigail was asking, can you remind us the name of the planner?
Yeah, so if you get this planner, your life is going to change. I'm telling you, it's awesome. I get everybody hooked on it. It's called Your Hustle and Heart Will Set You Apart. It lasts you 6 months. I'll give you the name of, I'll put it on your team chat, the link to the website. It costs $40. It'll last you 6 months if you use it correctly. So it's set up for, it's really awesome. I really love it. I literally have like 10 of them.
Also on the team chat, can you include the link to that podcast that you were mentioning earlier?
Yes.
That we can listen to that episode as well and just get whatever.
Do you guys listen to Bob Heilig? Do you? No.
No. This is the first time I hear the word. So
okay,
me too.
I have to share that with you. So he has a program that's called Love, Serve, Grow. He talks a lot about how it's not transactional, like we approach it. Like he's a network marketer. He trains network marketers, right?
Okay.
So that's his website is called Your Virtual Upline, and he has courses you can take, kind of like Josh Coates
Your name.
in a way. But I love his approach so much more. So his is Love, Serve, Grow is his like program that he markets, and I've actually gone through the program. It's really amazing. It's really, like, he talks a lot about how, like, if we can approach sales from a place of like serving, because that's basically, that is what it is. You will transform your mindset around it. You'll no longer start questioning yourself when you send an invite. It's like, he's transformed my business. I listen to his podcast every week. I love him. He's on Instagram too. Like, he just started making reels. His reels are amazing. I'm a big fan. The podcast, and he's been around for so long. If you guys go back through and listen to all his episodes, your mind's gonna be blown. He's amazing.
Yeah, I would definitely like to check that podcast out. Anything you want to add since you just got in?
I just got in. Thank you so much. I don't know, but you're talking about that, my virtual upline. Is that who you were just talking about? Yeah, I've heard really good things. I actually have never listened to his podcast, but everyone who does, they do rave about it. So
he's good. He's really good.
Awesome.
I came to know him through Melanie. Melanie does, like, I think she's even been a guest on one of his series, like really big into his approach. Yeah. I think Josh Coates, but a little different. He's more like, I think he speaks my language because he's all about serving, and that's my thing. And he's also, he ties it a lot with like God and your creator and how you have a purpose to serve. And so that speaks to me, but he's awesome. He has very good, concrete, like solid advice. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's him, Blair. Awesome.
Well, Bianca, thank you so much for all the wisdom and everything that you pour into us. We appreciate you. I'll make sure to upload this call before midnight, and I'll wait like weeks and weeks on end. So guys, thank you so much for joining us on this call. I appreciate you all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Thanks, Bianca.